Good afternoon. Oh, I can't hear you. Good afternoon. I like that. I feel good. I feel welcome to be among a group of scholars, research scholars. I'm excited about being here. Let me thank Dr. Hurd and the other speakers that have come before me, and I'll be introducing a very talented, gifted lady in just a few moments. But I want to say to you, this is an opportunity that you're having today. I never had opportunities like this when I was growing up. I couldn't believe it because I had little difficulty speaking, and all the kids laughed at me. They said that I stuttered, so they kept me back in the kindergarten. You're very fortunate to be research scholars at a symposium like this, where you're coming and you're meeting each other. And the greatest part of a meeting like this, if I never say anything that you might forget, remember this: have some fun. It's nothing worse than saying, oh, I've got another research, my paper is due, I've got to do statistics. Have some fun, because when you're having fun, your mind opens, and when your mind is open, you explore things. And all research is about is how do I explore some things to find out how it works, and how can it work so that I can do more. Your projects and what you'll do make a difference. But they laughed at me. They kept me back in the kindergarten, Priscilla Oliver. They kept me back. And they told my mother, I was 16 when she was born, they said, Mrs. Durley, your son is a slow learner, and he probably will not finish high school. And I began to see myself as a slow learner. And I began to stutter quite a bit. And they kept me back, and they put my brother in the same class with me, and they used to identify me as the slow learner. And my brother next to me, he's really sharp. But since my mother was so young, she didn't know what to do. But every time in your life there's somebody, it might be one of the teachers here, it might be one of your classmates, it might be somebody from another section of the country who'll say to you, you can make it. You've got something. But nobody was saying that to me, and you can always find somebody to put you down, but never put yourself down. So one lady named Mrs. Aslan, when I was in the 4th grade, she came up to me and she said, come here. She was stuttering. A teacher was stuttering, telling me, you can stop stuttering if you try. I looked at her like she was a fool. Why would she be telling me to stop stuttering, and she was stuttering? But she saw something in me. She said, I can look beyond my own stuttering and encourage you. Globe is about encouraging you to become researchers. Globe is about encouraging you to be the best person you can be before you become a researcher. What good is to be a good researcher and you have nothing inside of you that reaches out and makes a difference in the climate, that makes a difference when we talk about fracking, when we talk about solar energy, when we talk about alternative energy? It's the science that's involved in that to take you to the next level. And I'll never forget that day when I went in the classroom. I stood there and I got ready to speak, and all the people were looking at me as you're looking at these my classmates. And I said, and I couldn't get a word out. And they all laughed at me. Sometimes when you're doing your best, people will laugh at you. They won't understand you. They think you're weird. They think you're a nerd. They think you don't know what you're doing. But it's that moment that something clicked inside of me, and I said, all of y'all kiss my butt. And the teacher ran up to me and said, you didn't stutter. Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you'll reach that point when it seems everything is coming in on you, and you snap. And at that point, all of those who laughed at me and said that I wouldn't make it, said that I was stuttering, they're dead and gone. And look at me, I'm speaking to you, and I don't stutter one bit. I make my living, and I don't stutter because you believed in something. You heard something, somebody, it might be a teacher, it might be a cousin, it might be a grandmother that says you can. And it's the belief in a program like Globe, and particularly where young women are concerned. The speaker that I'll be introducing, she's talking to young women. It's a sad state of affairs in America where they begin to demonize what women were doing with the scientific. I'm so thankful that next weekend, May the 19th, my little granddaughter will be finishing a 4-point math student from Seton Hall University, a math scholar. And they were saying, a girl going into math. She said, Granddad, I like math. And what you like, you can do. Never let anybody put you. How am I standing here before you The guy that they said would never make it out of school, the guy that they said could never really do it, And then I went on down and joined up with Martin Luther King in 1959 and went to jail 22 times. All of those things, when they said, I'll never forget, a man looked at me one day in Nashville, Tennessee, and said, look here, come here, boy. You'll never vote. Look at the color of your skin. This is America. You black. You need to go back to Africa. You need to take and then he said, you need to take your black A to Africa. I was 18 years old. Here I was just overcoming the stuttering, finally got into college as a freshman, getting ready to be on an all-star basketball team. And he said that to me. And people will say things to you. Sometimes failure might come, but it just puts you closer to a success. And I did like this. I looked, and he said, you'll never vote. He's dead, and I'm voting. Don't let people tell you what you can't do. That's why I'm so proud and thankful to be here just to share an idea, to introduce a lady who has done so much, who's gone and made life livable. There are so many hurdles. And remember this, as you work on your projects, as you talk to your teachers, as you go to different places, all life is a hurdles race. That's all it is. You were born and you started like this. You were down at the block and they said, get on your mark, get set, go. Some people, when they hear the sign go, they get up and they said, who shot the gun? Don't worry about who shot the gun. Get up and start running. Don't worry who's got the gun. Get up and start running. And when you hit the first hurdle, don't get down there and say, is anybody going to help me up? Get up. And another thing, stop looking in the other lanes. Their project looks better than mine. They go to this school. They're this. No. When you start looking in other people's lanes, you'll miss your lane. Run your race. Get up. Keep moving towards your goal. And research is so important. When we were in the civil rights movement, we did not have all the social media that you have now. We would say we're going down into Birmingham, we're going into Selma, we're getting ready to fight in Mississippi. We didn't have those. So when Andy Young and John Lewis or Martin Luther King, whoever it is, we had a goal. What is your goal? And the two words that made it strong, two words, and I want to put this in your spirit and in your mind and in your thoughts, two words. What are you willing to sacrifice? And what are you willing to risk? Without risk and sacrifice, you just somebody else just kind of walking along. You've got to say, wait a minute, I'm not going out and party tonight. I'm going to risk not doing that. I'm going to go ahead and make this happen. Because in this room right now, there is somebody that's gone beyond and knowing how we're going to put solar together, how we're going to put it on the grid, and so that it can come down in a much cheaper fashion. Somebody knows how to substitute for fossil burning fuel. There's a teacher that I'm speaking to right now that might be tired, that might be weary, that might be worn out, but you are the catalyst. You make the difference. They said, Durley, you're trying to excite you. I can't excite anybody, but I can hope to inspire you, to breathe something inside of you that when you walk away from this conference, when you leave this symposium, that there's something down inside of you that won't bend, won't break, won't bow, and won't back up. You'll be the kind of people that we need. I look to you. My time is up. My future is now looking to you and encouraging you, and that's what your teachers do. They get tired of crazy folks walking there talking about, shut up, get on in them books. Study, ask the questions. And when others don't understand you, remember this. Have the ability to communicate. Communicate. What is communication, Durley? Communication, if I'm to communicate with that brother right there, I got to understand him. He's got to understand me. If I'm going to communicate with you, I've got to respect you where you are, who you are. I've got to respect our differences because our differences make us stronger. And then also I've got to trust you. You've got to trust somebody. I remember one time I didn't trust anything white. If a white person said good morning, I knew they were lying. If they said good morning and they accidentally spit in my face and told me it was raining, I knew they were lying. But you rise above that because there's something down inside of you that is, watch it, resilient. Climate change and global warming, I tied into the civil rights movement now because it is an equal opportunity destroyer. It doesn't care whether you black or white or gay or lesbian, tall or short. It destroys us all, whether you live in Ferguson, Illinois, or whether you live in Malibu, California. So you've got the answers in this room to look at it through your research projects, to understand what's down inside of you, to understand that we're in a moral dilemma. When I talk to business people, I don't mind them making money. I don't mind scientists coming up with the ideas. I don't mind politicians, but it's all on a moral base. Our morals have slipped away from us, and you constitute our leadership, not in the future. I don't deal with the future generation. I deal with the now generation. I was at one meeting, they said, look at all the visionaries in this room. I don't ever want to meet another visionary in my life. I'm tired of visionaries. Well, I've got a vision. I don't want to hear your vision. I'm through with visionaries. In this room, I don't believe I'm looking at visionaries. I believe I'm looking at a room full of solutionaries. Solutionaries. You can complain about this and complain about that and what they didn't do and what they will do and what they might do and what they haven't done. Or you're a solutionary. Let your research always move toward a solution. And remember this, what you're thinking now, even as I speak, even as the teachers, even as you go through this, your thoughts, what you think, your thoughts become your words. And your words become your behavior. And your behavior becomes your values. And your values become your destiny. So if your destiny is to have any kind of merit in being a great researcher and attacking environmental issues, then let your thoughts begin with that. By thinking, I am. When I'm talking to people in the climate change movement, I tell them, say this, we're on the winning team. Stop telling me about all the tsunamis. Stop telling me about all the forest fires. Stop telling me about all the droughts. I see that. Stop telling me about polar vortex. Stop telling me about the Green New Deal. Because you get down and you can't fight when you're on your knees. You got to stand up and allow the brilliance that you have in your mind, the compassion that you have in your heart, the ability to stand and say, we're on the winning team. When I played basketball, can you imagine if I was 60 points down at the half and the coach came in and said, well, it looks like we're losing again. They've got better tennis shoes than us. Don't look like, I couldn't go back out. So tell your colleagues, tell your classmates, challenge your teachers and say, we're on the winning team. You in this room are the best and the brightest. Don't even question that. The mere fact that you've been selected for this symposium, the mere fact that they came, somebody cares. And one of the people that I think really cares is a lady that I want to introduce. But I wanted to say those few words because whenever I'm in a place like this, when I have the opportunity, and my time is up. Tomorrow, I'll be 78 years old. My baby is 47. My great-great-grandchild. So it's not about age, it's not about time, but it's about enthusiasm. Be enthusiastic, be excited, have some fun. Allow the things and the challenges that you're going to face, allow them to simply put you to the next level in your life. Teachers, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Can you imagine a 1-year-old who can't walk? They get discouraged, but pretty soon they're out jogging. You stay in the field, you stay in the running, you stay in the race, and you know that you're on the winning team. Are you all right? Give me a hand, a clap of praise. Oh, I like that. See? And the reason I say that is because the person I'm getting ready to bring on now has exemplified that in her life. Juliet Hall, she was a long time with Chick-fil-A, whose founder is here in Atlanta. She was with Wells Fargo. She's worked in many big corporate positions. And we all can rise. But remember this, my mother used to say, down not those who are down. Cheer them up in their sorrow. For this old world is a funny old world, and you may be down tomorrow. Always lifting up somebody. Our speaker that's coming on now will be lifting up and talking about the STEM program, talking about technology, talking about engineering, talking about environment, talking about math, talking about science. Because at the core, you are the people. I get information from you to go out and disseminate. What makes us strong is what you come up with your research, because then I can do this. I can organize, I can strategize, and then I can mobilize. But if I don't have the facts and the figures, she's been doing this for a long time. She's gone to some of the best schools. She started her own company now. And the company, when she walks up, she can speak in such a way that you will listen. Too many times after we had a half a piece of chicken and some potato salad, we get drowsy. We start wondering, when's the party going to start? The party starts right now. This is the party. You can celebrate later, but the party is when I'm putting something into my mind and into my spirit, and I'm ready to step forth. We all dependent on you, your cousin, your nieces, your nephew, the 3-year-olds, the 7-year-olds, the 10-year-olds. Look what's going on in our schools today. Kids being afraid to go to school. You are our model. You're the role model. And Juliet Hall has been there, Juliet, for a long time, being the role model, not only in style, not only in dress, not only in looks, but in personality and intelligence. When she comes into a room, it makes a difference, and she makes a statement, not because she's trying to impress anybody, but because of what she's got to say. So when she comes on now, be prepared. If I were on a plane, I'd say when she gets ready to come on, I'd say this simply: fasten your seatbelts. It's going to get a little rocky, but it's going to be a good flight. And if you get a little windy because she's taking you up to another level, don't move. Just let the air flow down when it falls out the ceiling. And prepare. So brothers and sisters, young scholars, y'all didn't tell me I was going to be in a room full of PhDs, but I guess I am. Professionally handling demand. That's all a PhD is. And each of you are professionally handling what you've done. So I want you to put your hands together and bring up a scholar, a person, an individual, somebody who motivates, but more important than motivates, inspires. Somebody that's going to tell you that you're on the winning team and there's nothing that you can accomplish. Believe that. What you believe you can achieve. Let's bring on Juliet Hall. Would you come up? Oh, you can do better than that. She can't even hear you. Oh, look at this. I'm tired. I need a hug today.
Well, how about we get a nice round of applause to Reverend Durley for that wonderful and inspiring message. Thank you so much, and thanks for that warm introduction. Well, I am excited to be here. I have to tell you, when I was sitting where you are now, there was no such thing as Globe during the time I was growing up, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am because I'd be dating myself, but I tell you, I was so intimidated by science. It just frightened me. I barely memorized the periodic tables. I had to work extra hard. So to be able to speak to you all, I know you all are brilliant, and this is what you love to do. It is an honor for me to be here and to just speak words of life to each of you. And that's really the theme of my message. It's life. And while my message is primarily to address the young ladies in the room, this message is really for everybody, young and old. So just let me speak to you. Let me speak to your hearts right now. I want you to know that every life in this room was created for dominion. Do you believe that? Do you believe that you've been created for dominion? You believe it. I want you to know every life has been created for dominion, which means that every person was created to rule, to be a leader. We were created to rule over all of creation. That is a divine assignment over the birds in the air, the fish in the sea, and the crawling animals on the ground. And if you know your Bible, you can look it up in Genesis. I'm not making this up. It is our divine design as humans to have dominion, not to dominate over people, but to rule and lead through our gifts, our natural talents and abilities with which we are born. We are all born as leaders, but leadership is something we still must develop within ourselves and become. Leading over all of creation is our purpose, and we each have a significant role to play. And I want you to ask yourself, has humankind been good leaders and stewards over our creation? How are we really doing in fulfilling our moral and ethical duty and call to protect and preserve our creation? How are we really doing? I want to say this because I believe this. Our creation is a living and breathing soul. It changes and transforms itself organically with every season. From the womb of creation came human life. And when we die, we will return back to its soil. Our creation not only produces and reproduces life, our creation is life. It is a living, breathing, and ever-changing force. And if we are to protect and preserve creation, then we have to be good stewards and care for all of creation in what we do. We must consider the energy we produce, the water we use, the land we transform, the people we grow and sustain, and the air we breathe. It's our life. And yet, a recent United Nations report by CNN revealed that 1 million plant and animal species, 1 million plant and animal species are threatened with extinction. Not because of an asteroid, not because of a hurricane or a volcano eruption or any other act of God, but act of humans. It's because of humans, it's because of us, it's because of you and me. What do you do? What do you do when you are faced with the pending reality that over 1 million life forms can be wiped away from earth forever? And this is why we need leaders. And this is where I want to really specifically hone in to the women and girls in this room. It's for everybody, but specifically women and girls. We need more girls in science. This is why we need more female representation in STEM programs, and why we need more women in leadership giving voice in making decisions to protect and preserve creation and all of the life forms that come from it. Because I want you to think about this. Who naturally connects to life more than a woman? I want you to think about that. Because women are the carriers of life. The very physical anatomy of our bodies are designed this way. We give birth to life. We are natural nurturers of life. We provide nourishment to life. We add beauty to life. We instinctively prioritize the health and well-being of life. We are the go-to caretakers of life, and without us, there is no continuation of life. It's all about life. And according to the U.S. Department of Commerce, women are vastly underrepresented in STEM jobs and STEM degree holders, despite making up nearly half of the U.S. workforce and half of the college-educated workforce. Women hold less than 25% of STEM jobs. So young girls, young ladies in this room, we need you. We need you to take on leading roles in every field of STEM, including researchers, environmentalists, earth scientists, aeronautical engineers, food and agricultural scientists. Don't get me started on the food. I'm really concerned about our food source and GMOs and all the things that we do to our food, the mass production. We need leaders in those fields. We need female leaders as statisticians and urban planners and every other STEM occupation where there is underrepresentation of women. We simply need more of you because we need more leaders who have a natural predisposition to improve and advance the quality of life without the side effects or repercussions of destroying life itself. Women are naturally connected to life. Young girls, you're growing, your bodies are growing, but you are naturally connected to life. We just don't need any leaders. We need servant leaders. Leaders who serve through their gifts. Leaders who put people first. Leaders who have a mental consciousness of right and wrong and a heart condition for what is moral and what is just. And when you think of servant leadership, for my earth scientists in the room here, I want you to think of an iceberg. Because what do you know about icebergs? That there is more underneath than what you see on top, correct? It's a perfect metaphor for servant leadership. Because 80% of servant leadership is what you don't see. It's about character. And 20% is what you're taught. And I want to tell you something. I need you to learn this. There is a difference between character and reputation. Because reputation is what other people say about you, but character is who you are. It reflects your heart condition. So young girls, young ladies, I encourage you to make building your character a priority. Be humble. Be teachable. Be generous. Be good stewards over that which you have been given. Be kind and willing to help others. Be fair and equitable. Do what you say you're going to do, because it's these qualities that define you. It's these qualities that make you noble. And know that it's good character, ultimately, that protects and rewards you. And in this regard, I want to take an opportunity to highlight one of your very own. Where is Anna? Anna Hopkins, where are you? Anna, stand up. Stand up, honey. She's like, oh, boy, what does she do? Anna, and everybody, I want to read something to you about this young lady. Anna is an exceptional girl for many reasons. She is diligent, displays integrity, displays leadership and teamwork, and cares about science. Anna led her team project, designed the experiment, and kept learning and investigating. One of the most important qualities of Anna is that she is teachable and she is humble. She is easy to mentor and was a great help in leading and working with the team. Anna volunteers her own time to learn more, teach, and mentor the next generation. Anna, these are words from your own instructor, Miss Waddell. Is she here as well, Miss Waddell? So I just want to give you all a picture of what servant leadership, what the character of servant leadership looks like, and I think she deserves a round of applause. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, and well done to you. So how do we transform young girls and young women into servant leaders? Well, I want to break it down for you. A servant leader is someone who serves. S-E-R-V-E. Okay, English was my major. Okay, so I can spell. But serve is an acronym for servant leadership. And it was created by a company. I want to see if you can figure it out. If you listen to Reverend Durley's biography, I worked for a company for 17 years. They made excellent chicken sandwiches. They had these infectious cows that wanted people not to eat them, but to eat chicken, and they are closed on Sunday. So at 1, 2, 3, who did I work for? There you go. Okay, I wanted to see if you all were awake. Well, this company has a model, which I actually teach. I'm actually licensed by the company to teach this model, even though I'm no longer employed there. And it's something that I use when I talk to organizations about servant leadership, because I want to help people understand that what makes servant leadership different is about character. It is about leading with integrity. It is about putting people first. And I teach best practices of servant leadership. And what I want to do is I want to break it down, because I want to let you know how you can transform yourselves as you grow, as you go to school and develop your mission and enter into the workforce. I want you to bear in mind just some practices of servant leadership according to the SERVE acronym. So here it goes, the S. I want everybody to say S. S. S stands for see and shape the future. See and shape the future. That means you, as young girls and young ladies, and even the men in the room too, this is for everybody, but I'm specifically speaking to the girls. That means you must lead your life and work with a vision. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? What does success look like for you? If you just start with those two questions, that's the beginning of your vision. And I want you to protect your vision and make it plain, and let the vision that you set for your life dictate the friends that you have, The people that you bring around you, let it dictate your values. Let your vision dictate how you spend your time. Let your vision dictate how you spend your money. Your vision should produce a discipline in your life. And I want to give you a definition of discipline that I go by, and it's by the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe. Discipline is self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. I'm going to say that one more time. Discipline is self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. Your vision should produce discipline in you, and it should influence your choices. So that's S. The second letter in serve is E. Everybody say E. E stands for engage and develop others. As young girls and young ladies, be good at selecting the right people to be on your team, to be around you. Be intentional about leading projects and subject areas that energize you and that make you feel strong and like a genius. If you don't feel alive with what you do, if you don't feel energized, then those are clues to let you know that's not your natural gift. But what keeps you up at night? What do you think about? What are those natural daydreams? Where does it go for you? Think on those things and align your work with those strengths. And if you lead other people as you grow and as you enter into the workforce and you're thinking about building your team, make sure you do the same for those people that you lead. Align work with their strengths, because you'll find deeper engagement. You'll be more engaged when you love what you do. That's the E. The third letter in serve is R. Let me hear you say R. R stands for reinvent continuously. Reinvent continuously. I challenge each of you to commit yourself to continuous improvement, both personally and professionally. To ask those what if questions. What if we did this? What if we did that? What if we tried something new? And don't worry about failing, because I've also come to learn that if you're not failing, you're really not living. And here's why. Because if you don't find yourself failing in something, it means that you never took a risk, that you never tried something new, that you never attempted something that you haven't done before, that you haven't stretched yourself. Failing is living, and failure gets you closer to success. So don't worry about failure. Just push yourself and reinvent yourself and ask those what if questions, and always challenge and push through the status quo. Take your projects and assignments to the next level. Develop and sharpen your skills and work ethic so that you can continue to become better at what you do and help others along the way. And in this regard, I'd like to highlight another student. Kaylee Stevenson, where are you? Kaylee, stand up. I like your sundress, Kaylee. I like sundresses. So Kaylee's teacher, Mr. Roger Rose, I don't know if he's here, Mr. Roger Rose in the back, okay, and then her Globe partner, Lynn Hare, is Lynn here? No? Okay, but Mr. Roger Rose is there. This is what he and your Globe partner had to say about you, and I want to share this with the group because I believe in encouraging others, and we want to encourage and reward the behaviors that we want to see repeated. And so this is what we had to say. So Kaylee is a dedicated and hardworking young lady. She excels in hands-on science investigations, especially with anything concerning the environment. Kaylee has completed scientific research projects every year since kindergarten. Oh my gosh, when I was 5 years old, I wasn't even thinking about science. Oh my goodness. But since kindergarten, and most of them covered environmental topics. She is always willing to do her part on group projects and helps others anytime she can be of assistance. So ladies and gentlemen, this 11-year-old fifth grader is modeling servant leadership. Thank you, Kaylee. And I'm sure if I had time, teachers could give me more comments about each of you, because I believe that you all are here. You're all here for a reason. You all are here not just because of, your smarts, your intelligence, but it's who you are. And so I applaud each of you. The fourth letter in serve is V. Let me hear you say V. V stands for value, results, and relationships. Now, you don't have to look very far to see examples in the news where companies care more about profits than they do people. There are energy companies. I'm not going to name any names, but you can Google them. Energy companies that are known for their injustice and egregious acts against small rural communities, and especially where there are Black or minority populations. We need servant leaders in positions of power who do the right thing, who put people before profits, who care about the welfare of frontline communities and in other communities as they care about making money. Because here's the thing I want you to know: when people thrive, businesses thrive. So as you grow and develop and lead people and projects, be thinking, how can you achieve a balance of meeting the goals, but also building trust with the people whom you work with and serve? And finally, the last letter in serve is E. Let me hear you say E. E. All right. E stands for embody the values. Young ladies, everyone, men and women in this room, this is all about walking the talk. Living out your core values unapologetically. Stand for something that you believe in without compromise. Stand for what is right. Be the example, because there are too many examples of men and women in power who lack values. I encourage you to make civility, decency, and kindness your competitive advantage. And with every project you are assigned to complete or lead, may the end result be one that shows honor, dignity, and respect to humanity and all of creation. Use these questions as your filter. Does my work create peace in the community? Is it responsible? Does it promote environmental justice? Is it pure and clean and of good report? Whatever your mission in life, consider and apply these questions to your work. And in closing, I just want to say the world needs you. The world is waiting on you. And my final charge is to take dominion over the earth, serve humanity through your leadership, make excellence your standard, and save the planet. Enjoy the rest of your symposium. Thank you so much.